We are not going to acquire anything unless it comes in the way of our planning stop. The idea, which is sometimes put forward by some honorable members, opposite that a kind of general scheme of nationalization would bring about great equalization is incorrect. Stop. Drastic equalization in that way simply means equalization of the lowest stage of poverty. Stop. That is not good enough. Stop. We want to raise our country's standards and yet bring about this equalization so that we can go towards an egalitarian society. Stop. The whole idea of nationalization does not come into the picture at all, except that when planning requires that some strategic point which comes in its way should be taken. Possession of the state should control it. Stop. Otherwise, the state should go ahead and build up new state plants. Stop. The public sector becomes bigger and more important and productive, letting the private sector advance simultaneously. Stop. If the public sector is eating into the private sector, there is no total advance, even though there might be some advantage from the social point of view. Stop. We shall only be losing our resources by shifting a factory from the private to the public sector. Stop. The House will forgive me if I often talk about atomic energy. Stop. I do that because I wish people to realize how the whole basis of our future industrial living pattern may be affected. Stop. I have no doubt that just as we were affected by the advent of steam and electric power, the advent of atomic power in the next 10, 15, or 20 years will make a vast difference to the running of all our factories. Stop. This is another reason why we should not go about wasting national resources in mere acquisition of property when we can build other plants which are more modern. Stop. And if we have to acquire property, we should pay just and equitable compensation. Stop. There may be many rich men owing these interests, but many of these large properties are limited liability companies with a large number of shareholders. Stop. We do not wish to deprive them. Stop. I therefore say again that all this apprehension is completely misplaced. Stop. It ignores not only existing conditions in India but the probable future line of advance. Stop. We talk about a socialist pattern of society, industrialization, the removing of unemployment, of higher standards, and so on. Stop. What is really necessary is somehow to activize and dynamize the base of the Indian social structure. Stop. I want the House to appreciate this phrase. Stop. No doubt there must be approaches from the top, but there has been too much activizing from the top layers to stop para. This seminar to discuss parliamentary democratic forms of government is a very good move stop. I have looked at the heads of discussion on which papers have been received stop. They are interesting aspects of parliamentary democracy, but it seems to me that they deal with somewhat superficial aspects of the question. Stop. Democracy, as a speaker just now said, is a means to an end. Stop. What is the end we aim at? I do not know if everybody will agree with me, but I would say the end is the good life for the individual. Stop. What form it should take can be argued about, but the good life certainly must imply a certain satisfaction of the essential economic needs which will release him from continuous oppression and which will give him a chance to develop his creative faculties. Stop. Parliamentary democracy is a growth of the last 150 or 200 years. Stop. We must remember that even in England the franchise was strictly limited till recently. Stop. 20 or 30 years ago a small percentage of the population had the vote. Stop. Even now in quite advanced countries, women who form half the population do not have the vote. Stop. Democracy in those countries is presumably male democracy. Stop. It needed many struggles before democracy in the 19th century could widen out from the strict confines of certain classes. Stop. As the franchise was extended, the representatives chosen also ceased to belong to the higher classes. Stop. It is only in the last 30 years or so that adult franchise has come into being in a number of countries. Stop. This period is not long enough really to tell us what the ultimate effects of the universal franchise are likely to be in solving problems. Stop. Problems are solved not merely by the governmental structure being good, but by the quality of human beings, their education and their character. Stop. The machine can at best make it easier for those qualities to develop and remove any elements which suppress growth. Stop. In the past, democracy has been taken chiefly to mean political democracy, roughly represented by the idea of every person having a vote. Stop. It is obvious that a vote by itself does not mean very much to a person who is down and out and starving. Stop. Such a person will be much more interested in food to eat than in a vote. His democratic right. Stop.